Guys, here on the channel, you guys know how it goes down, I'm pretty good at the game. Like, I'm not gonna say that I'm the best, but I'm certainly not the worst. I'm not a Sentinel, I'm not a Gooch Licker, I'm not an MW or InfinityWard fan, so I have some sense of skill. It just so happens that I just don't like the game or the developers whatsoever. It's kind of like mathematics. Like, I'm pretty good with numbers, I just don't like doing the work. Same exact concept here, guys. Now, what does this have to do with anything at all, guys? First of all, the gameplay that you guys are watching is probably my best game played in quite some time, ever since coming back since XDefiant. To the competitive fans out there, I know there's a few of you guys in the comments. Scadmaster does some absolutely wicked shit towards the end of this game, but to everybody else, the reason I am talking about anything competitive-wise in Call of Duty is because a particular InfinityWard developer had another interview with CHARLIEINTEL over at Dexerto, where they talked about the map pool in this game and why some maps are the way they are and why others are the way they are. And guys, let me just be the one to say it. These developers are just... they're fucking morons, okay? I don't know how else to say it. I'm not trying to be mean, but at the same time, if I try to be nice, then I'm just being fake, because there's no way you could be nice to the level of stupidity that these developers exhibit. And not to sound too fucked up, but personally, I just don't believe these developers deserve human rights, okay? Like, these guys don't exhibit any human characteristics. They clearly don't have the common sense that the average human has, so in my opinion, I just say we strip them of their rights. But the reason I'm talking about the developers and how stupid they are when it comes to maps, and why I'm talking about competitive in Call of Duty, is because CHARLIEINTEL tweeted this out. InfinityWard devs explained in an interview with us at Dexerto recently why they created the Santacena border crossing map. Map-wise, we try to have a balance between experiential maps and the more competitive maps. Not all of them are super sweaty balanced ones. There's ones where, hey, it'd be really cool to fight over a border crossing, and I know that map's not super popular in certain groups, but we like to keep it fun, and it's really neat to move through those cars channeling Sicario. So we try to keep it fun and switch it up, but there's a balance. Now, just right off the rip, guys, straight up, I have no idea what the fuck this guy's talking about. Like, this has to be some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my entire goddamn life. I've been alive for 24 years on this planet, and trust me when I say, here in the Call of Duty community, I have met and seen some goddamn morons. But this right here has to be the dumbest pile of shit that I've heard in quite some time. Now, I clicked on the article to this because I just wanted to see for myself if this guy was trolling or if he was actually serious about the things he was saying, because essentially he's saying that border crossing, in theory, is a fun map because it's not a competitive map. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I have never heard the term competitive map. Not in my 12 to 13 years of playing Call of Duty, I have never heard of something called a competitive map. I have heard of maps that are viable for a competition. I've heard of maps that make sense objective-wise to the point where you could run competitive games on them, but I've never heard of a competitive map. This isn't CSGO. This game definitely has a casual audience, but that doesn't mean you need to make one of the most ridiculous maps because it doesn't need to be viable to competition. Does that make sense, guys? So anyways, I ended up reading the article and this is what I found. Map-wise, we try to have a balance between experiential maps and the more competitive maps. While some are designed to cater to the sweaty crowd, others keep the casual audience in mind instead, prioritizing more unique experiences as opposed to the traditional competitive friendly layouts. Then he says, our user base is so huge. And that's fucking cap. We try to balance as much as we can. I think it's important to have these fun experiential maps, and we obviously have enough for the CDL to have their play space. Now, I'm not gonna lie, guys, as somebody who plays a lot of ranked play and somebody who keeps up with the CDL, let me just be the one to say it. This is absolute fucking cap. The quote-unquote competitive maps that we have in MW 2019 Part 2 are god-awful, with the exception of like maybe 2 maps. Not only that, but there's a reason we added the Expo map into the competitive pool, was because our previous option was a pile of dog shit and not competitive whatsoever. So I have no clue what this guy's talking about, but let's continue. We kind of just make adjustments as we go, but I think it's important to have a wide variety of experiences. Not everybody's into super sweaty matches, so we kind of balance it for everybody. We do our best. Oh my fucking god, dude. Guys, when you play on a map like, let's say, Mercado or Hotel, which are, I guess, considered to be competitive maps, do you actually play those maps thinking, God damn it, man, like it's so sweaty in these maps. No, you never say that. What do you say instead? Holy crap, this lobby is sweaty, or holy crap, the CDL mode is sweaty because it's ranked play and it's supposed to be sweaty. I have never once in my entire time of playing Call of Duty have I ever said this is a sweaty map. By the way, keep in mind, he's saying all of this crap about sweaty maps and competitiveness to try to justify the creation and existence of the border crossing map. Guys, I have played that map probably 5 times since the launch of this game. It's not the fact that the map was created to not be sweaty that bothers me, because that's not even a thing that fucking exists to begin with. It's the fact that the map simply sucks, okay? Like, there's nothing appealing about the map. If there's some people out there that like the border crossing map, look, if you're in school or college, I would recommend therapy, okay? Most of the times, it's free for you because you're a student. I would recommend it. To everybody else who does not like border crossing, do you not like border crossing because it's not a sweaty map? Or do you not like border crossing because it's a pile of crap? Everybody who has played this game for the most part knows that is one of the worst maps in Call of Duty history. I don't need to explain why it is. I think somewhere in the article he compared a map like border crossing to the Raceway map. Even though Raceway is not in the competitive map pool, I still think that map is leagues and leagues and leagues better than border crossing, and if we're being completely honest, the Raceway map would actually be kind of fun in ranked play. Now you might be asking, why isn't that map in ranked play? Well, because the developers completely ripped off Formula 1 and they got hit with a fucking copyright claim. Once again, just proving how moronic these developers are. Also, it kind of begs the question, what makes a map sweaty in these developers' eyes? Is it the fact that there's structure that makes sense? Is it that there's objective sites in places that make sense? Is there things in the map that are not complete and utter bullshit? Like a million broken, destroyed cars that you can blow up? Is that something that makes a map sweaty? Because he's talking about traditional competitive sweaty maps. I have never known a single map to ever fit that definition ever. What I think is actually happening here is these developers don't know how to make a good map. Because there are many maps throughout COD history that are not competitive maps that are viable for something like ranked play, for example, that are also not just complete and utter piles of dog shit. Nuketown is not a ranked play type of map. It's not a league play competitive type of map. It's just fun and fast paced with a really fun concept behind it. Hey, what's it like to fight on a training field for nukes? Rust is not a competitive map, but it's very fun. You know why? Because it's small, it's fast paced, and the layout is interesting. The concept of the map is actually pretty cool. By the way, this was developed by InfinityWard, and another map that was developed by InfinityWard that is not competitive whatsoever, but a lot of people love, is Shipment. Who remembers the DLC map from Black Ops 2 called Rush? I'm pretty sure that map got remastered too, if I'm not mistaken. That map is not viable for ranked play, and it wasn't back in the day, but a lot of people loved it because the experience of the map was you were on a paintball field, and that's cool for a Call of Duty map. Nowadays, we get dog shit maps like Piccadilly, Ramaza, Azir Cave, which by the way, Azir Cave was a map that was played competitively back in MW 2019, and that map wasn't good. You just don't know the difference between a good map and a bad map. The developers are trying to make this whole case of like sweaty maps versus non-sweaty maps, and border crossing is a non-sweaty map and that's why it's not popular. No, that map is just a pile of orangutan shit. And by the goddamn way, if you're complaining about anything being sweaty, you want to know what that means? Perhaps get rid of your fucking SBMM system. What if I wanted to play one of these competitive viable maps, like for example in this game, the Fortress map? It's supposed to be competitive, right? You wouldn't consider it sweaty. When would you consider it sweaty? When you're in a fucking lobby with a bunch of fucking sweats. That's when you would consider it sweaty. And in public matches, people are only complaining about this level of sweat because of SBMM, not the fucking map. See what I mean, guys? Like, these developers just don't think with common sense. These are the same developers that said they were cool with the game, they were happy and content and satisfied with the state of the game back in February when we only had 2 DLC maps and they were Shipment and Shoot House remastered again. Also, not to mention, the base maps for this game, do you know where they got them from? The Warzone map! Look at the DLC maps that we're getting. Expo sucks. I'm sorry to be the one to say it, even though it's a competitive map, quote unquote. That map sucks. And look at the other DLC maps. The Lighthouse map sucks. The Night Vision map sucks. If it wasn't Night Vision, it'd probably be good, but hey, I'm not the one making decisions because clearly I have too much common sense. We finally have the decent concept of a map, and they want to make it night vision. These fucking guys, man. And now we have the campaign map. No, Scadmaster's not playing any of that shit. These guys just don't know how to make good maps anymore. That's the simple fact. And before I close out this video, guys, there was one thing that was brought to my attention in my last video where I also talked about how the developers are fucking stupid and how there's only 3 more original maps that are coming into the game that are, I guess, viable for competition even though the season ends next month. But I saw some people telling me how there's a reason they can only bring in 3 original maps. I guess in that particular interview, the developer said that if they brought in any more original maps, more than 3, that it would break the game. And that was their reason for only having 3 more original DLC maps. Please, tell me if I'm wrong. Is this not supposed to be the most advanced Call of Duty of all time? If we add more than 3 original maps, we're gonna break the game. Fastest and highest selling Call of Duty of all time with the highest budget, most developers, most time developed. You got me fucked up, InfinityWard. What the hell are you talking about? But that's gonna do it for me today, guys. I'm curious to know what you guys think about this. Is there any other ridiculous nonsense that you've seen InfinityWard spew out? Please let me know down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notifications to stay up to date with my newest videos. And yeah, guys, it's been the boy Fooly. Have yourselves a good one. I'm out of here. Toodles.
It's been a very long time since the weekend. It's been a very long time and I'm weak.